Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Dave, obviously, if you're on my channel. Anyway, you see my SD40-2 in there. I'll be working on that thing at a later date. But the reason for this video is I'm planning on taking that CSX and painting it in Santa Fe livery. Now it's not going to look like the other two. It's going to be the same color, but it's going to be just a little bit different, not one that you see a lot. So I'm hoping, pay no attention to the car upside down in the foreground. So anyway, I'll see you back on the workbench. Bye. All right, so here we are at the work table. And what my plan is I'm gonna take all the freaking stickers or any decals or paint or anything on, because I don't want it to show through. So that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm just taking a Q-tip and a little bit of alcohol. I mean, I've got some mineral spirits, but I don't know. I don't want it to like melt the fucking plastic, or excuse me, melt the dang plastic. I know people swear on YouTube all the time. I try not to. I might say, you know. So anyway, this is my plan. I'm going to take these. This I'm not going to worry too much about, because it's going to be this blue here. It's going to be covered up anyway and be a different color altogether. But I'm going to get this off the CSX here. And I'm going to go primer everything. I found a long time ago that alcohol is a good for some things. I mean, you know, things like this, believe it or not, alcohol will remove paint, or at least as far as this stuff goes anyway. I'm gonna work on the other side now. Yeah, I let it soak a bit, and yeah, it's going through the original cover paint and everything, but I'm just trying to get so that darn it. I know this is supposed to come off, but apparently it was glued at some point, so I'm trying not to break it. And I'm gonna paint it all. I got all the you know, handrails and all of that done, taken off of there, and those I'll have to paint separately. But so I'm taking off this, and I'm gonna primer it all. This and the big, you know, the cab, and these here are gonna end up being silver instead of blue. Gnarly, huh? Anyway, so oops. Do this over here. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish cleaning, you know, getting these decals off, you know, and whatever, and then I'm going to wash them down real good, and then I'm going to primer them. And I've got this is the paint I'm going to use. So and this is the paint I used on the other two locomotives when I painted them. But I'm not painting this one the same color scheme as I painted those. It's going to be the same colors, obviously. It's going to be Santa Fe, obviously. But I'm going to paint it a little slightly bit different color scheme, or livery, whatever you want to call it, than those other two. It's just like I said, it's still going to be Santa Fe, and it's still going to be the Santa Fe, obviously the Santa Fe yellow and blue. And apparently, and I've seen this, but apparently Santa Fe and CSX had very similar paint schemes on some of their locomotives, you know. So yeah, so this I'm just gonna, I know this gray is just a paint you know, when they painted these at the factory, along with the blue. But anyway, so I'm gonna finish this up, finish getting all the old CSX off of it. Clean it up, wash it down real good before I throw some primer on it. And yeah, there we go. Yeah, because I think it's like I don't know, gray plastic underneath. They painted gray over the top of it. And I thought the handrails, I thought they were actually glued on, but they sit in these little tiny holes here. I don't know, it's hard to say. Yeah, they do actually just go in these, and they aren't glued on. I was very surprised about that. I'll be honest with you. I thought for sure, you know, because I'm like, well, I'm probably going to break these dang things, taking them off, because I don't want to paint the body shell with the see, it's taking all that paint off. Yeah, with the handrails on it, because the handrails are also going to be partially blue and partially yellow. Gnarly. So it's interesting. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clean these up, you know, clean this up a bit, and clean this up. Just gonna have, because I gotta make sure there's no oil or anything on there. I'm gonna primer them all, and then, like I said, these are gonna end up being silver. This is gonna be black. This is gonna change from blue to black. The fuel tank there. And so yeah, so when we come back, everything's going to be primered. Bye. Okay, so we're back. I did some little bit of painting. I primered everything. I went ahead and painted the truck covers. I guess that's what they're called. I don't know, man. And the fuel tank. I still have to paint. I got to start the painting on the body, and if you can see them over here, all the handrails and whatnot. So I got to do the handrails too. Everything's going to be in a base color of yellow with the blue on top. So that's what I got to do next. So got my everything ready to go, start painting. And so that being said, I'm gonna get going on this painting, and we will be right back. All right, I'm a couple coats into it. My airbrushing skills are mediocre at best. Going to put a couple more coats on, make sure I get good and covered, and then I'm going to let it sit for a bit, and then I'm going to switch to the blue. But I have some things I have to tape up before I switch to the blue, things that are going to stay yellow. But yeah, the handrails, I'm not sure with those yet, because in the scheme that I'm looking at, just the very top rail is supposed to stay yellow, at least according to the pictures I've seen. But it's going to be hard to tape off this top rail on here. I mean, it looks neat as hell, but I don't know. It's going to be hard to tape off that top rail, especially on some of these other parts, you know. But I don't know. I'll think of something, I suppose. But even so, if I leave them yellow, I think they still look pretty cool. But yeah, so just a little quick update. gonna get back to painting and moving on. I still haven't got the decals yet. The decals are in the mail. I should be getting the decals to go on, but yeah, that'll come after I get finished here. But anyway, see you on the next one. All right, we're back. As you can see, I've already started putting the coats of blue on. I'm what, 2 coats in? I don't know how many coats I'm gonna put on, but you know, I got everything taped off. I was gonna show that before I started painting it, but you can kind of see how I taped everything. Just tried to get just the rail, the handrail part itself, and everything else is gonna be blue. All the uprights, I guess you can say, are all going to be blue, and the handrails themselves are going to be yellow. Hopefully it turns out the way I want it to. Yeah, that was time consuming, because I had the front and the rear railings plus the 2 side catwalk railings, as well as the railings that go up and down the stairs, at least in the front anyway. Let me make sure if I didn't miss any. No, it doesn't look like I did. So it looks like those 2 are just the front. Anyway, so actually, I mean, the body itself was pretty easy, because I just had to tape off the very front nose part right here, and the back rear part right there, and then these side pieces right here at the very bottom, those all needed to be taped. The cab part, the actual cab part itself, just where the number boards are, just where the number board goes. Too much coffee this morning. Anyway, so yeah, I'm about 2 coats in. As far as the blue, I don't know how many coats it's going to take, but I'm just trying to put on very light coats so I don't get any paint runs and things of that nature. And so yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm still waiting on the decals. Still waiting on the Santa Fe decals. Hopefully they'll be in the mail here, you know, within the next few days. But that's fine anyway, because I want this paint to cure real good before I put the decals on. The paint scheme that I went for, and you'll see it. It's not one that you see very often. I did a little research, and aside from the war bonnet style paint like I've got on the other 2 locomotives, I wanted to use the blue and the yellow paint again, and that war bonnet style paint job was kind of a pain in the ass. I'm just glad it turned out as well as it did. But this is even older. So the war bonnet, that blue, like from my other locomotives, that was from around the 80s, somewhere in the 80s. That livery, that paint scheme came out. Well, this is from the 70s. Same colors, just, I mean, like I said, once I'm done, you'll kind of see. But yeah, they didn't have SD60s. I think they did SD or GP38s or SD40s or something. Santa Fe did, but they never had the SD60, and not as far as as my research came out. But anyway, this particular paint scheme, or this livery, was from the 70s. So yeah, so not too many. I haven't seen anything as far as you know, model railroading goes. So I haven't seen anything in that. And like I said, it's from the 70s. You know, the blue war bonnet style, which is a little more popular. I think it's called war bonnet, but don't quote me on that. But like I said, the style of my other 2 locomotives That's from the 80s. So this is like I said, this is a paint scheme I haven't seen personally. I found it in my research, and it used the blue and the yellow with the yellow lettering, and so I hope it turns out the way I want it to, and you'll see once I'm all done with it. But yep, that's as far as I've gotten so far. So I'm gonna put more coats on and get it to where I want it, and let that paint cure real good before I take all the tape off and reveal what it's going to look like in its final form. Well, at least before I get the decals. So I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping to get the decals here soon. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and you know, throw some more coats of paint on this and let it cure up and dry real good, and then I'll peel the tape off and start putting it all back together. Well, put it back together in the sense that until I get the decals on. So anyway, I'll see you in a few. All right, here we are back again. Obviously got the locomotive painted. It did a little bit, started on the decal work. Nothing too severe. I'm gonna finish up on the decal work today. Got my stuff ready to go, and once I'm all done, I'll get back with the finished product. So just stand by. Thank you. All right, we're back, and I got it done. And this is kind of what I'm going for. It's not exact, but this was the paint scheme. I mean, obviously you saw me doing it. The decals, man, the decals were a pain. And you're probably thinking, well, yeah, you got that damn handrail in the way. That's not the pain part. I went to I originally bought a different set of decals from this other place that I found online, and they were nice decals, but when I put them in the water to soften them, they rolled up into a freaking ball or a tube, depending. Like the big Santa Fe decal rolled up into like a tube shape, and there was no way I was going to unroll it without I was able to get the number, on the side, the 8700. But and the little shield on the front, that was it. It's supposed to have pinstripes. That's the paint scheme, is pinstripe that goes along the top of the locomotive above the Santa Fe and the vents there. Those curled up into it looked like a curly fry. So I was able to get those three, the two 8700s under the windows there, the locomotive number, and the shield on the front. So I ended up buying a different set on eBay, much better set, and those worked a lot better. They didn't roll up or anything like that, but they're very, very, very brittle, very brittle. And I did end up messing up a couple of the big decals because corners of them would tear, or when I was trying to reposition them on on the side there, they would break or crack or tear. They were very brittle, so I had to really go through it. But anyway, here's the completed locomotive. And like I said earlier in the video, it's from like in the 1970s or something. That was a paint scheme right before they came out with that blue and yellow war bonnet type one. It came out in the 80s, from my research anyway. I don't know that for an absolute fact, but anyway, this is what I was going for. This was the the CSX one from the beginning. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect by any means. It's got some issues, little things here and there, but from a I mean, you only really see them close up. It's just like the other two locomotives I painted. You see the imperfections and whatnot from, if you get right up on them, but from a distance, it looks pretty dang good. So I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, well, thanks for stopping by, and yeah, I did get a new little turntable. I'm I'm pretty pretty. I like it. It's not too bad. It's an Amazon thing, but yeah, I will talk at y'all later. Bye.